All right. Good morning. Good morning. Ugh. Neuro, check your DMs. Inquiring minds wants to know. My coffee's too hot to drink. I'm like, I want to drink coffee, but it's too hot. I want to drink my coffee, but it's too hot. I'm gonna burn my mouth. It's like pizza, right? It's like you want to eat, but you're like, yeah, I'm gonna burn my mouth on that one. Yeah, it's right there. Oh, thank you, sir. Check your DMs on Discord. Gotta know. There was like new functionality today, so like we went live on the two streams here, right? But yeah, we went live on the two streams here, but we were trying to like we had questions, Neuro. We're like paired. Like, wait, is Neuro streaming? Trying to figure out what the heck is going on here. All right, so we'll get started. So overnight, I would say, again, little pound strength, little euro weakness, inflation acknowledgments, pretty much across the board. That transitory thing that they were supposed to disappear in July is not gone yet. Um, you're seeing it everywhere. Where is it? We're going to keep observing the relatively high inflation rates. Inflation to risk to housing affordability in Australia. ECB is talking about watching it. Business morale deteriorates further, but inflation is going crazy. Yes, I took over your stream. Nah, it's not taking over. I'm just trying to figure out. We're not sure where you typed it because it said like mine says like the paired thing. We're trying to figure out what the paired means because like I paired my stream, but we're like, did he type it on my stream? Did he type it on the Nadex stream? That's what we're trying to figure out. Not sure where you put where you did it at. That's what we're trying to figure out. If that makes sense. Because there was many places you could have typed it, and we saw the chat and restream. We're like, okay, did that come from YouTube for you for Nadex? Did that come from YouTube for me? Did that come from Twitch for me? We're just trying to figure it out. They said it's a new function. Todd's like, are we going to cannibalize ourselves if we do this? I'm like, I don't know. I'm like, I really have no idea. But as far as news today, we got nothing. Just German business climate. We saw that it was kind of reducing a little bit. Tomorrow morning, it gets a little bit crazier with some consumer confidence. Expect to go down a little bit, although the manufacturing index is going up. And then tomorrow night we have the big CPI quarter over quarter for Aussie, which I think will be good. Expected to hold, right? But again, that's more inflation, holding it, zero point 0.8 and then going up 0.8 again. That is an additive. That is two things, right? There's no transitory factor in there. So we'll see. Like I said, it's a big week for speeches, but a lot of it is late in the week, not early. A lot of monetary policy reports this week, but again, it's all late in the week. Supposedly Yellen talked this weekend. Todd's like, yeah, Yellen made a speech this weekend, but I was like, really? What did she say? Because I don't see, I don't see anything like as far as the hottest story goes. Like I got nothing in here. Like, this is ECB taper. I can't go back any further there. Oh, here you go. 21 hour. Yellen expects high inflation through mid 2020 before easing. So it's funny that it was supposed to be mid 2021 and now it's 2022. Oh wait. She rejects criticism. Wait, what? But rejected criticism that U.S. risks losing control of inflation. It's expected in the second half, it says she's running some supply bottlenecks and tight U.S. labor market and other factors. Right? I mean, you can talk about the pandemic, but like everything is back to normal. So yeah, this is temporary pain, guys. Don't worry. I don't think we're good about whatever. Responding from criticism from more Treasury Secretary. Yeah, she clueless. And it's funny. It comes up as like a non-impact release. So, there's a fruit fly in this room. It's going to drive me insane. Anyway, that's all we got. So let's just dive right over in the chart. So let's start off with Aussie. So Aussie dollar seeing a little bit of a crash right now. We are looking for a little bit bigger of a pullback. We had some levels in here. There was an area of sellers that kind of came in and tagged this around 4 o'clock this morning. Went about 25 pips. So kind of a small area. We talked about taking a bounce off this 84.75 last week, and you can see it kind of ended the week there, and then we kind of took off from that same level. So it was really set for a long. from last week's analysis. So hopefully you guys were able to take advantage of that one. And it was decent. I mean, it was about 56 pips in there. So depending on what your entry was, you could have waited for some of the pullbacks in here. But anyway, it was a level we were going to go long from. It went back up again and turned exactly where it should have. It should have rolled right here with the ascending wicks, as well as, I mean, here's where your roll should have occurred, right? It helps if I make it completely horizontal right there. All right, so we're pulling away from that level right now, which again, it's a decent pullover. Oh, this is Aussie yen, not Aussie dollar, but whatever. It's the same thing. Right now, I'd say wait for it to come back down again. I wouldn't use this level again. I'd wait till we get much lower to the 84.08. But if we start basing in here, again, we can take a more close proximity base out of here. We could see a further kind of push to the downside. And again, this is basically the yen. It's not the Aussie at this point taking over. So, look for a continued push down. Whew. But again, the move has already happened. We were looking in the overnight up, and then again, we'd be looking for a reversal right now. And unfortunately, in this last 30 minutes, it's already dropped about 26. So you could have taken this one short. I mean, really, there's two here. I mean, here was your long for the weekend. And again, you may say, well, wait a second, but it broke. It's like, yeah, but you're not taking a position at 1 o'clock on a Friday. Sorry. If you are, then that's your fault, not my fault. You guys know I don't do that. I don't, just not my thing. And actually 1 to 3 is sitting right there. So you can see from where we opened on the 24th, you were out by really 2 hours or later, right? Nice little push up. So there was the downside, and then get looking for a reversal. We knew we had sellers in here, big, strong push down. Take this, and you can reverse this to the opposite side. And again, too late for us to do much with it right now. But 1 to 3 is sitting right there. So actually, it was out early morning, right? European Open, down. And how many is this? 25. So risking 8 for 25. And I just did it again. So, yeah, either one could have worked. You could have done it from there or done it from there. So either one is good. Again, you probably would not have done it from that one. It probably would have been more of a setting there. It's still doing it. Right there. Okay. But again, you could have taken it. You could have done this. Right. You could have been looking for that one. But again, riskier because it's in just the start of a new session. It was 10 o'clock. You could have probably taken that. Either way, you guys can see. There's your trade from the overnight for the Aussie. Going back to the Aussie dollar, there we had a level. And again, it was a tested level. And again, hit it and kind of dropped. Same thing. We talked about this last week. We ended up hitting, but late close of the business day. So not really something you want to take. And then really not much of a gap and just kind of continued higher. So same trade. It moved the same way, but Aussie yen gave us the setup, not the Aussie dollar. Came back up at the European session open. European session open is actually here. Came up, tagged it. It was tested. We were looking for a break on Friday. It didn't get it. It actually held. So you could have drawn a new zone in here and actually set it up for the test because of this candle or right here, right? And again, you can set it up the same way. Same trade, although I do actually like it better on the other side. 1 to 3 is right there. Right. So it's close. It's close to being out, but same trade. Same trade. So you guys should be out of this one as well. And I'd look for it to come down to 74.57 and see what we got there. It's like just at that level where it's like, all right, I'm not burning my mouth, but it's definitely hot. I almost hooked Asher up with some coffee this morning, although I'm not sure how that would turn out. He's like, Dad, I woke up at 5 o'clock today and thought it was later, and I ran upstairs and then saw that it was 5:15, and then I had to go back to sleep, but it was hard. I was like, well, welcome to being old. Old people do that all the time. I was like, you want some coffee today? Let me know. It's like, I don't know. Let me eat breakfast and I'll see how I go. So, yeah, wait for the bounce. I think it's a decent level. I mean, it's held twice. Obviously not an A+ one because it has hit twice, but I think we probably have one more. But wait for a confirmation, wait for a bounce, wait for basically a hit and then a pullback, and then take it on the other side. Don't hit it as a number one. Yes and no, Neuro, but like he has ADHD, so like he has meds that he doesn't like to take, but they're stimulants, so I don't think it's much different, right? I mean, if he takes, Ritalin or Adderall, whatever the heck it is. They're all stimulants. Not quite the same type of stimulant as caffeine, but yeah, it'd probably be fine. It's better than him trying to take a nap in class, right? Because because that's kind of what I deal with. Those are the notices I do get, right? Those are no. You got to answer the question. I was waiting for you. You haven't answered it yet. On which platform did you type that? I need Todd's like, did he tell you yet? I'm like, no, he didn't. We're trying to figure out which location where you typed that because it said paired. We're not sure where you paired it at. Todd's like, I gotta know. I was like, I'm trying to find out, Todd. Let's go to Euro Pound. So Euro Pound, not really surprised. We were looking for this thing to push down from 84.58. It kind of chopped through 11 o'clock. We chopped up and then tried it again. And again, this is where we started late last night. You could have grabbed the level in here, kind of difficult, but I would have more taken the basing and the testing over here. European Open was right on this red candle. So we were looking for it to rally back down again. It just took a little bit and it was a little bit sloppier. And again, this all comes back to the European data that we got, ECB. Talking about higher inflation rates and supply chain issues, and inflation is gonna go higher, and then again, this 4 a.m. Right? Again, this hurts. Obviously the business climate not being as good in Germany. Germany is a driving force in the EU economy. So again, not surprised. I mean, really, the 4 o'clock window is sitting right here. This was the nail in the coffin to push it down. So overall, it looks like it's huge. It's only about 27 pips in there. We have it kind of shrunk in there. You know, is what it is, right? I would say right now, as far as the extreme levels go, we still got this level up top, and again, we've been flirting with this one for a bit. But looking at 87, let's change this to red, right? 84.79, I think, is our one decent shot up top. And again, we definitely have some sellers there. And we're looking for a Harry Potter. And again, I would say this is still valid when we can finally break it. We just haven't actually had it break yet, right? We haven't gotten a clean break of it yet. So I guess we can bring this over here, right? We've hit the zone so many times at this point. It's not an area I'd be looking to take it long. I'd be looking for this more to go short than anything else. All right. But right now, it's again, look for areas of sellers, look for continuing to push down. Again, I do think the EU is particularly in a weaker situation. We have, excuse me, none. Here's the euro for the week. Particularly over here on Thursday, the monetary policy report. Again, they're going to stay at zero. They're not raising it right now. I think we still got about another. I think December is probably where this one really starts to pick up. Because they've said they've strategically allocated it into other areas, but I think we got another month. I think we can go through November being, showing weakness in there before they really start to change too much around. Because they've kind of laid out a pretty good timeline. Unfortunately, is what I think the problem is. We know the timeline, but again, it's kind of like I don't think they're going to take too much movement. So I don't know. I'd say right now, again, I mean, you can see it's really kind of just bouncing back and forth. Actually, the 61.8, you can see it over here, is that same approximate level. It's not not a figure. It keeps breaking through, but I would say, at this point, it's broken a little bit higher. I think 84 is really what you're looking for. 84.80 or a break of 84.22. So keep those on your radar. This should already be on your watch list from last week. Euro yen. Same thing. We had this kind of position here, kicked in at 3. We were looking for the same scenario again. Didn't get it. Here's that German data. So what you could have done on this one as well, you could have said, well, wait a second. We got some basing, right? Late night. And then at 3 o'clock right here, it kind of was up in that same level. We had the German data coming in. You could have traded it. Yeah, you could have. This was gone from last week. These were profit targets and they are gone. Actually, for your short, your profit target should have been here. And you can see we took a nice little bounce off of that one. Right now, let me see. What do we got? Get rid of some of these. We'll leave that there. This area is fine. Let's remove some of these. Let's see. Wow, talk about no explosive movement at all here. Well, that's boring. Probably the same Harry Potter still. We got 191 pips though before we get down there. I'd say at this point, I mean, the best thing we got on this one is just really playing this one to the downside and marking off new levels. Um, Sucks that that one's already pulled back at 9. Um, hmm. Um, no, I'm responding back to you just because Todd's like freaking out because he meets with the Facebook person soon. All right. Yeah, worst part is, guys, there's not really like a great area of stability. If I had to pick anything, I would say that there's probably a level sitting in there. We got a little bit of a test. Let's change that to black as far as an area goes. And it's all right. I mean, it's an okay level. I mean, I wouldn't say it's anything earth shattering. Um, hmm. It's the best we got. I wish that I could really pull some hidden gem and be like, right there. But it's not really giving us a whole lot. That's literally the best little tested bounce in there. So I would look for 3160. It's about 30 pips from where we are right now to the downside. If we can get some a level of basing, there may be another short. There's an area here that's okay, but it was formed like super late at night. So it's not really the ideal scenario. I mean, it's only a 14 pip bounce. So it's not even like a great level, but I would say it's the downside. If you're short, that would be our first downside target. And again, we'd be looking for another kind of basing level, just a bit lower too, and maybe taking another short. But I would say that these are our two profit levels: 131.60, 131.27. Um, excuse me. Either of those two downside would be kind of what I'm looking for, right? But I think at this point, that's at least a decent area where we could potentially go. Short from. And again, if you want to start, drawing some fibs in there to start grabbing pullbacks, I mean, looks like the 50 is higher. We would need this one to kind of bounce. I mean, ideally, if we come down to that level, if we bounce off 3160, look at that 50% retracement sitting right at that same level. So, I mean, again, this could be you know, a potential scenario for a short, right? If we come down, and again, that's the last area where buyers were. So, if we take a 50% retracement, right there, tested level, 32.10. All right. Euro dollar. Euro dollar, you can see we had this level from last week, just extended across the 161.62. I mean, this was a late last night. Here is the European Open. Um, European Open is right. Actually, right a little bit off from there, but right there. And again, this is all just German data. So, you know, big runner level we talked about last week. It's going to be harder to give you much to do because it's already moved 76. It's well beyond. Um, Here's our roll point on the top. So again, this gives us a pretty established top and bottom. Um, and again, if you want to flip this is what we're using before for different levels to bounce off of. Here was your 23. There was your 50. Bounce back up again. So now, if you want to take this, we can reverse it and go to the other side. Right? We can come here and go down. And in all reality, we should use the whole zone, but we're not going to cheat. Let's see if that one can retrace back again. But we're kind of looking for this to come all the way down. But again, you can look for small pullbacks. And again, I guess for the ultra hyper aggressive person, there is this one, right? There's that. But I wouldn't get that. I wouldn't get that hyper aggressive with it. You're approaching the other end of the curve. So, um, there's some decent levels there. But I would say, ultimately, use the same level from there to there. And again, we'll see where the bottom is, but most likely that's what it's going to be. Most likely we'll be looking for shorts probably in that level. But again, we need price to come down first to reset it. Okay. Yeah, pound yen. So, I'll drop this lower. There's your little Harry Potter turn that we are looking for over here. Right? We're looking for that to break down and push, and it did. It broke. It didn't really base below much though on the 30. Even on the 15, it really kind of went back up again. But it was an area we're looking to go short. Now, had you taken this with spot currencies, it didn't work out for you, right? Why? Because of the one spike back up again. It went just a little too far. But again, spot currencies, it dropped. It pulled straight back again. That's not the definition. We're looking for bounces like this where it comes down, basis, it comes back again. We're still in the same geographical location. It did go through, it did break the 156.13 level and gave us a base. And we know that it kind of gets a little choppy, a little weird in here. And again, if you wanted to draw levels of basing, you could draw a level right there. Right? We had it here. We had a pullback. It was the explosion. It was that racetrack that we're taking advantage of. Now we came down and based in that level again. So what I would say is next time we are able to break through and get another Harry Potter in there, you can see that we got plenty of room to the run to the downside. Right there. Right? Pull this one across and punch here and talk about this one being down to really that level right there. I wish I could like reverse this. Oh, I'm not going to be able to see it now. I can't find it. I need the bubble to reverse. Like I need this to go on the other side. But something along those lines. Right? Something along those lines. So this one is out. We can bring these all much more in closer reality. I'm going to put one right here. Right? I don't need this one right now. Pull this. Don't need this. Oops. All the way across. Yeah, it's perfect. That is perfect right there. There we go. So we're good with that. Break of 155.93 down to 115.38. It's a decent level there too. All right. Pound dollar. So this one did the same type of chop. Punched through, went lower, pulled back up. Base, but it was still red. Chopped up, chopped down, chopped and chopped. So most likely, and again, this one did not get stopped out on the top side. So if you caught this one you made it for the full 1 to 3 this weekend. Or actually, I guess it was done. Yeah, actually, I guess you were done Friday at noon. And then here's where the weekend started, right? Here was the last week's trade to there, right? You were done. Today's trade, had you done the same thing up top. There is your European Open right there. Set up in a short. And this one ran 40. So again, Monday morning, European session. 1 to 3 is right there. Okay. So since that time, it's just going to kind of bouncing back and forth again. I would say the next time I'm really looking for something is probably a bit lower. We had a Harry Potter break of 137, although there is a new zone here that we're kind of looking for, which is kind of right there because it is now tested. So it's more or less that. Okay. If we break 137, racetrack down, and profit target needs to be there. Again, you can see it's a little bit shallow, but that's fine. Here's the next opposing zone below it. Right. But could it take a bounce off this level? Sure. It was a decent level. Right. I would wait for a confirmation top or a confirmation low on either one. That's a high. I don't need that anymore. Don't need that anymore. Okay. There we go. All right. Dollar CAD. Yeah. So dollar CAD is up. I don't need all this stuff now. 4 pips. So again, dollar CAD held off that 123.07. It hasn't really gone crazy, right? It's been punching through, and again, we hit here once, it hit again, and kind of pulled back down again. I mean, really, we got this internal level here, but right now, this is kind of where we are, top and bottom, right? I wouldn't be using this anymore. Again, on Friday, it kind of took off out of that level. Let's do here and here. There's a decent push there too. Let's see. It's 11. I'd say this is how this one is more or less set up. Again, this is the 2307 is a 4 hour level. The 122.99 is basically the new form based inside of that level, pretty deep. So again, it's kind of the more aggressive would be the 4, the more conservative would be the kind of the 22.99. Again, don't take the additional risk if you don't have to. With this one being high, again, one thing I think is important to keep on the radar for this week. Where is it? CAD, Euro, Wednesday. With the monetary policy statement, the rate statement, they're not changing the overnight rate, but again, could they be talking about when they do? Yeah. So I think I like this one short. I like this one short prior to news release because I think they'll be a bit more aggressive in it. So again, I'm okay with this one. If this punches up in either of those two levels, I'm okay with this one, taking this one and rolling this one back down, just because I do feel like you'll get some Canadian strength coming into the market. Okay. Dollar Swiss. Wow. So did I draw this one right or did I draw this one right? Just saying. Last week, let's see, the 22nd at 10 o'clock is right where we were. We were sitting right here. Actually, a little bit before this, but right. So when I drew this last week, I said this is kind of my prediction. I needed to come a little bit lower, right? I needed to get a little bit, Actually, we were probably in the 9:30. We probably hadn't bottom out at this 10 o'clock. Basically, if you guys remember this one, if you don't believe me, go back and watch last week's episode. I said we needed the draw to come down to at least this level because that would put our 50% retracement level right here at 92, right? Right at 92. Well, it came all the way down. We drew it basically to the exact turning point this morning. And again, that hit at midnight. Then we rallied all the way up, and look what we happened to hit. At the 50%, there's our short target, which kicked in at 8:30 this morning when the U.S. trader stepped in line. And there's your 1 to 3. Look at that. One candle down. Not too shabby, huh? Sometimes the kid knows what he's talking about, right? But go back and watch it. We were talking about projecting this one using fibs, saying if we can get down, we can get front run on this. Remember, the 9140 was our target, but we saw a base in there. We were looking for a front run, and this is where we were, right? We got it. We got it farther. Where I drew this is literally. I mean, look at this. How awesome is this? I saw this morning. I told Todd, I was like, look at that. I nailed it. Literally comes down there. I don't know if you guys can see it. Look at that. Right there. All the way back up, and boom. So even though it's like on the most hated pair that exists, look at that. Using fibs for forecasting, right? Using fibs for forecasting. Yeah, and actually, it's funny. I joked. I don't know if you guys know. Well, I guess Ernest typed it in chat the other day. It was Jack's birthday last week, and I told Jack, he's like, "What are you selling now?" And I was like, "Well, I got this class. I got this class. I got this class. I got to pull this class out. I got a bunch of stuff to do." I was like, "I should probably do a fib class too because I like my students are calling it the golden setup." I was like, and I've been out forecasting with fibs on the channel because everybody likes looking at the charts. He's like, "Do it, man." He's like, "That's awesome." So, yeah, there's your forecasting with fibs. Forecasting with fibs, the golden setup, and you're out already for the day. So not too shabby. Right now, I would say it's probably worth one more hit on that level. The reason why I say one more hit on that level is because it hit it at a U.S. Open and it had a very very strong release off of it. So again, not too shabby, right? Got to like entries like that. So yeah, it's pretty much. I mean, the trade is done for now. If we break through this level up to the top, out the top side of 9205, again, there is a decent runner back up again. I think, you know, up top, I think this is where you got to start watching for right there. I think that's where you got to start watching for, you know, the next move higher, right? Um, Yeah. Basically, that'd be, I mean, anything dollar strength based, anything about inflation's getting a little bit out of hand, inflation's getting crazy. We got to start looking at raising interest rates. We're going to do it 3 times or 4 times next year. All those things are good statements to drive this back higher. But again, what you'd be looking for is a break of 92.05 right there. Okay. Dollar yen. I hate this pair. So we had a big area that we were looking for on the larger time frame, and we hit it off of in balance and kind of came down. And again, this is all the overnight and Friday and stuff. None of these things you would have traded. So I mean, really trying to get a top and bottom for this one. What I would say is if we move this to the top where we had our draw from, you could have a level there, and I would say that right now this is probably where our level is. Um, and again, this is a tested level. So here's kind of our two kind of fresh available levels to use. It's been so choppy though. I mean, it's pretty ugly. I guess there's a little bit of a test there, but anyway, I mean, here's your gap, right? Here's your close. There's your open. There's your gap, or your punch back down to the gap, and there's your takeoff. So again, Sunday night gap on that one. But besides that, I wouldn't say there's a lot of trading opportunity. So right now, I'd be waiting for this top and bottom, and I think that's basically all we can do with the yen, dollar yen. Okay. Going across, wow, natural gas is up 9% now. We talked about it spiking, Todd, but let's see if it turns. All right, so natural gas. Yeah, I mean, talk about being manipulated. Like I love it. Todd's like, no, we're super short. I'm like, Todd, they're building supply. He's like, but we're not where we thought we were, or we don't have as much supplied as we did previously. It's like, well, why? What affected that? What caused that? Was it global warming, or what was it? Was it earthquakes? Was it snowstorms? Like, is there any reason why supply cannot be increased right now? And the answer is no. Right? Supposedly, there's these major shortages. What the heck is that? Oh, okay. All right. I was like looking at this. There was a message sitting here. I was like, "Hey, who's this from?" Anyway, again, there's our initial push. I mentioned in the Nadex presentation. I expected this thing to rally higher. Once all the retail traders saw it, it was like, "Woo! Off to the races. Let's go!" And that's what it's doing. I look for reversal. I mean, we're up 9% today. It's over an ATR. Supply can't be improved. I bought up all the means to do so. I know, right? And that's the thing. It's like they're like, oh, but the surpluses are not where they're supposed to be. Like, okay, but what caused them not to be as high, right? Was there no benefit to doing it? Like, you know, were the plants closed down? Like, was there a hurricane that shut everything? Like, the thing is, no, there was none of those factors. The infrastructure is not like that's the thing. A snowstorm drives prices higher because everything's locked down. You can't do anything, right? Like you get, a hurricane in the Gulf and it shuts down all production, then obviously there is a supply chain disruption. There's no supply chain disruption. Nothing happened. It's supposed to be warmer. I showed you guys. Here's the chart. Here's the outlook. It's supposed to be warmer than it normally is, right? And again, if I zoom in on this, I think we can go in here. Look at this. Look at this. Likely above 70% chance, 60 to 70% chance. Look, the South, they're pretty much they don't need natural gas. Here, 50, there's 50%. It's going to be higher than normal. Sure. Here, I mean, worst case scenario, and again, there is I don't even know. Is it? I think it's this blue. Yeah, because it's not. It's leaning. It's leaning. It's not even likely. It's leaning. Right. So yeah, where this is likely above with pretty much certainty, and this is leaning. Again, this is science, right? Right. This is science. It's going to be warmer. There's going to be less of a demand on the amount that we actually need because again, climate change is the biggest risk to the world and society. Okay, but if it is warmer, and again, they're not worried about being too cold, right? This is why it's funny that they change it from global warming to climate change, so it suits their narrative. Because if it is colder in some place, how is there global warming, right? But overall, it looks like it's gonna be a warmer year, so less demand. So yeah, keep jacking the price of this one, and we'll see what happens. So I would say look for a top. This is a great selling opportunity. We just have to find the top at this point. And again, we will be signaled when it is time to turn and flip. It's just not there yet. So wait for the turn and flip. I would say, the last time we were up here, again, sellers shot it down. Sellers shot it down. We had another level here that they shot it down again. There's a couple levels in here that we can be looking for, but again, if we want to move this across and just kind of take advantage of the other move, I mean, look at this. We got a couple levels. It's just which one of these are they going to finally hit that exhaustion phase, right? But right now you're seeing it already start to kind of it's starting to slow a little bit, but I think it's a great selling opportunity. Um, yeah, great selling opportunity. And remember, I mean, we're seeing this 10% spike today, but I mean, it was 650. It was $1 higher just 2 weeks ago. So yeah, it is what it is. It's get a little red candle there. So oil expected this one to go higher, and I kind of drew the pattern. I just drew it to it was instead of being here, it was here before going higher. But I kind of expected this one to go up to that 80, 85, 60-ish level today. It's on its way. We're only about 30 cents off. But I think we will get up to there. Like I said, everybody's so concerned. I don't know. Oil producers are going to have record. We're going to go into a recession. And oil producers are going to be like, oh my God, oil producers had record profits again. It's going to be the housing bubble all over again. When Exxon's like, we made $1 billion in just profit after everything was said and done. Right? World's collapsing, but Exxon's making $1 billion in profit. Yeah, I think it goes higher. I think it wants to tag 86. And again, what I find interesting about this, and I just laugh about it, is you hear people mentioning it, but they're not doing anything to stop it yet, right? What I find interesting about it is the side, so one side of the aisle is very anti-oil and everything is bad, right? But at the same time, the other side makes more money because, again, they are more backed by the oil industry. The higher these prices go, the more the other side of the aisle is making money. And the reason they're not stopping it is because the higher these prices go, the next election, we're going to talk about what gas prices were before, and then there was the canceling of the pipeline, and then we're going to look at after. And there's going to be a lot of people out there was like, this is some number one bull. And yeah, it's going to be used against the side that is trying to, halt climate change, right? But yeah, it's the same. This is like the Euro conundrum all over again. You want to change climate change, but you don't control what happens in the whole rest of the world where it's not as important, right? Countries like, yeah, we're going to use Bitcoin as our currency. That's great. It's extremely environmentally unfriendly. So yeah, we can go carbon neutral here, but everybody else still messes it up. It's still getting worse, not getting better. So yeah, there's that. So yeah, expect this one to go higher, right? Greed is good. One side is helping feed the greed of the other side. It's the only time they ever work together. So yeah, look for it to go up. Now gold is nearly back again. It's trying. I think 1812 is where we can hit today. Needs to push us a little bit more. I don't think we really truly have anything really tested. And I would say the testing will really come in at this level right here. At let's see. Let's do this. I think the big test comes in right there. Let's see. I don't want I see. I like the dotted, but it's hard to see. I think that's kind of our first real test of sellers. I think we come back up again. I think the 1812 pass. I think 1814 is our first true test on that one. I think 1819, right? I think 1819 is probably the first good short on that one. But I said it last week. It deserved to be above 1800. It is above 1800. It had that big 1030 reversal. Like I said, it was like the crazy reversal down, and then it's just been a parabolic retracement move back again. Right, since that time, since we bought them at 1130, again, it is pretty easy to find. Many of you, I'm sure, grabbed this one. We knew that we had areas right down here, right? Testing all in here, and that's what we came down to. So 12 o'clock and just off to the races. So yeah, look for this one to pop a little bit higher. Silver is trying to make its way back up again. And again, we talked about this one going higher. I would say that silver has been much more boring, right? We talked about it coming all the way down here, the 2352, and then having that be the punch point. It just held. So, I mean, while gold is definitely moving higher, silver, not as much, right? Silver, not as much. So This is another one we drew kind of that forecast of getting up to the 25 number. We didn't make it. We made it to 23, 2480. I still think it punches higher. So I mean, this was that forecasting that was not quite there yet, but you can see the pullback on that one. It did break, but again, the 23 was kind of where its basing was. So again, I'm still going to hold this when this one goes back up again. If we can hit 25, I'm looking at the 24 figure for an area where we can take another bounce off of. But I do think this one goes higher. Now, I am still not on board that it can get to 100 by the end of the year. But do I feel like there can be some manipulation and we can get to 30? Mm, maybe, maybe. Um, Obviously, saying that there's a lot. I think there's a much better chance of 30 than 100 is obviously stacking the odds in my favor. But I am curious to see. I do think if everybody starts talking about inflation, I do feel like this one can potentially get to 30 by the end of the year. Can we go much higher than that? I don't know. I mean, like I said, as soon as they start capping inflation, I think this one starts going down. I think a lot of the steam on this one was really kind of taken up by the cryptos, right? I mean, having those ETFs is definitely helpful for cryptos, right? Because it's like, oh, more people got to trade it now. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Even though it's a proxy, it's not actually in Bitcoin. But having the ETFs is more exposure to it. But now that there's ETFs out there, it's also an easier way to short it. So yeah, I think because it's an optionable, once you go into ETF land, it becomes an optionable product. I think it gives short sellers more of an ability to get short this position, right? So yeah, so that's there's silver, and then let's look at the indices. VIX is up, so again, not surprised. VIX is not as bad as what it was. Yeah, VIX is still continuing to drop down again. So let's see. Let's drop these over to the 15 minute. Look at that. Kind of came. Look at that. Right up. The initial drop was straight down. Again, VIX is up, and then now it's just basing off that same level. 45.23. So I would say, as far as where was there an opening trade in this one? No, not really today. Not really today. There's your 9:30. Again, VIX is up, so you expect it to go down, but it was not at a level. And again, it's Monday, so we don't necessarily have great overnight levels. The European session did nothing for us on that one. And it's funny because we started the European session here. We kind of grind all the way up to the 48 number, hammered right back down again to that same level that we've been watching for a while, and then use that to base. But we're at the exact same spot, right? If European market opened here, let's see, we are exactly. Oh, actually, I guess it's here. Yeah, 3 o'clock. 2 points. We are 2 points from the European Open. So again, not really much of a trending market. With the VIX continuing to kind of drop down, I mean, obviously with it lowering, that is obviously helpful for the most part. Um, Again, not a lot of real news today. So I mean, at some point, this thing will probably click in. Although it looks like, with it does look like it wants to continue to push lower. So yeah, I mean, really, there's no real tested levels till down here. So I mean, if this thing decides that it's a down day, 45.14 looks like what's on the radar for today. But no opening trade set up at the open, right? Yeah, not much you can do with that. Let's check out NQ. NQ, the big one of the day. Kind of the same thing. Look at that. So European Open here, right here, and we're basically that same level. Little bit of a spike up, and again, we're using the 15,400. We were right there at the 9:30 open, kind of pushed above, and then all the craziness back and forth. But again, was it looking to the left? Was it a good level? No, not really. I mean, we had that little whoops, had a level there, but again, level from last week. I would say top and bottom really on this one. I guess we can draw that. Yeah, it's fine. It covers that. I'd say right now this is probably our kind of top and bottom areas for buyers and sellers. Right, 15, 469 and 15, 311 to the downside. So, and again, what are we doing? We're holding, we're hugging, right? We are attached right now to this level right here. Oh, yeah, it stays white. Right there, 15,400. Right, and again, it'll act as a kind of a magnet. Right. I think top or bottom way for either of those two levels, and that's probably where we're going to go with NQ. YM is basically, I mean, this one is just sideways flat. 930. You could have arguably made a case on this one at least. right? We had pushed down. It was tested. It did hit. Did we get a full 1 to 3 on this one? Neither of the other two is set up at all. Yep. So again, there's your one setup of the morning. It looks like I really don't think any of the other ones are set up. Let's see. I don't like how wiki that is, but let me see if we can get that on a 5 minute. There you go. So this was our one setup of the morning so far. We'll check Russell, but again, I don't do that much with the Russell at all. There would have been your one. Open at a confirmed right here. Again, it went high, but you could have redrawn it and done off the confirmation right there. So there's your one. Actually, 1 to 3 was there. Anyway, it went well past. It doesn't matter. But there's your 1 to 3, right? How far? Let's see. How much did that drop? So that's 83 points in. I mean, I guess actually it was 107 points by 10 o'clock. Let's see. Um, 9 to 11 there. Let's see. 113. Let's see over here. Hmm. Dow. I can use the 911. So they are currently 24. So 5 strike prices down. Not too shabby. Right? That's a 5 strike price remove. Not too bad. I gotta remember to check this tomorrow. Is anybody regularly looking at that one? Are any of you guys seeing are you guys looking at the 2 hours at the open for Dow? Like I said, I'm normally doing Todd's thing and then jumping over to this one. You guys seeing how many are what is the out of the money's looking like for that one? How far away is it collapsing? Like on the 2 hours? The 9 to 11 should be better. Or I'm sorry, the 8 to 10 should technically be better, right? Than the 9 to 11, but I'm trying to figure out how many strikes out. Trying to figure out right now with the I don't even know how to say this politely. The strike differential problem, the the transitory strike differentials, right? Trying to see how viable that is just at the open with the current strike widths. Trying to see how far out, how many you need to be to get a decent risk on this one, or are they jacking them in the morning? Um, like I said, I don't know if you guys are watching these or not. Because right now, with the indicative it being 565, well, it's kind of in between two, but it looks like it really starts to fall off about with 36 minutes to go, which would be the equivalent of the 8 to 10 2-hour binary at the actual U.S. Open. Um, even though this is considered in the middle, right? It looks like it falls off at 2 strike prices, where this is a 5 strike move, and in reality, it did nothing. It's 0.02, right? It's moved 8 points total. But like I said, at 2.5 to 3, it seems like it levels off. This would have been a decent one past. It's at the same time frame. Obviously, the volatility's down a little bit too, but just seeing if you guys watch this at all. And if you guys are not, if you guys could watch it for me tomorrow. Actually, you know what? Tomorrow we don't have the session, so maybe I will watch it tomorrow. Yeah, I gotta get this one on wraps. Like I said, it's just happened in the last 3 weeks when we've been talking about this and really kind of setting these up and reviewing the open for the indices. I think every day but 2 days. I think every day but 2 days has provided at least one. Most days it's 3 out of 4. So the percentages are just too high right now to be missing out on these. So again, um, it's 3 to 4 strikes because of the premium before the market open. Okay. Yeah, Marina, it's what? And is that on the 8 to 10s or the 9 to 11s? Because remember, because of the time decay, the 8 to 10s with only 30 minutes left shouldn't have as much premium stacked in because there's no time additional time value. The 9 to 11s, because they have an hour and a half, there's 75% to go. It's starting to decay. The 9 to 11s, yeah. No, I'm talking about the 8 to 10s when there's only 30 minutes left. But even so, this was a 5 strike price move today. 3 to 4 is not that bad at the open. And again, you just want to make sure time wise, 10:30 is the ideal opportunity where we need to make sure we're out by. So the 9 to 11. So what I'm thinking on is the 9 to 10:30. It's basically the 9 to 11s. You only have till 10:30 anyway, where we are expecting a reversal from the open, right? And you're carrying 30 minutes of a time value or time premium in there. That's not going to help you. The other way around, you're only taking care of you're basically shorting yourself 30 minutes, but there's not. It's kind of that's just what you got to catch. I know last week when I set it up for call spreads, it almost every like 3 days in a row they were all good with call spreads. And then at least that way we didn't have to cover the strike. It was a little bit more to get in, but you could always have those partial fills, so it was beneficial, right? You weren't worrying about that expiration. So that's all I'm wondering. I'm trying to decide is I've been trying to come out with like a call spread only kind of set of rules and strategies, and I feel like at the open it's made. Actually, let me I'll just look at it real quick. Let's see. Call spread indices. I mentioned that I dislike how I have to click on these things and click 9 menus. Um, yeah, so that one would have been in the money a little bit. It didn't get all the way up top. Um, but again, being that they're like 100 points, I wish I could see. I can't see the eight. I can't see the expired ones. God, I wish I could see the expired ones. See where they put them on at. Hmm. Yeah, it was about 70 in. It's way too much risk on the top side. Yeah, I mean, there's a decent one that was really, really close. But again, I think the 8 to 10 pricing would have been a little bit better. But I can't see it now. That's why I got to watch it tomorrow. Oh, but yeah, I think the call spreads are giving a little bit better returns than the binaries. But again, today would have been fine. I mean, it moved five strike prices. So yeah, some interesting things, right? Like I said, that could be an opening. I'm trying to bring back. So I'm trying to work back in the 30 minute, right? Um, I hate to say this, but like so many people keep purchasing the 5 minute binary class, right? And I'm like, guys, 5 minutes are not ideal right now, right? Use the 2 hours, not the 5 minutes, because the strike lists are not really they're a little bit too big on the 5 minutes, right? Until they go back to normal, right? Like I had this discussion again. I'm like, you can brag that you have 21 strikes, Todd, but when you only touch 3 of them in a day, you're failing your end user. And he's like, I 100% agree. We got to go farther up the chain. I'm like, go. But I'm not telling you. Who cares if you have 21 if you only touch 3, right? I'd much rather you hit 12 of them, 15 of them, right, out of the 21, like that it goes through, right? Not having 21 and only touching 3. That's a waste of time, waste of technology, waste of brain cells. So, but yeah, this would have been a nice little one at the open, right? But again, I'm trying to bring back the 30 minute, and I'm trying to find the ideal scenario, and I'm pretty sure it's at the open. The 15s are hitting way too often, so that's kind of what I'm crafting this on. So, all right, last but not least, Russell. So Russell actually Ooh, Russell did kind of give us a setup here too. Not on a 5 minute. Let's go down to 15. Yeah, look at Russell. Look at big boy Russell. So Russell, so it's 2 out of 4 had setups today. Oops, it's long. Russell had an area of basing right there, and Russell's obviously just skied this one higher, right? So same thing. I'll even take the 9 to 11. There's your 9. There's your 11. Up. Change it to blue. Let's go down to a 5 minute. Look at that one. Let me see. Wow. There was one there, and that one just blew it out again. All right. Let's see. How's that for a call spread? That is ideal, right? Came back, tagged a level, right? We knew we were looking for a level there. There's your call spread. Obviously blew the call spread out of the water. But being that low, it was a little bit in. Let's see, 16 to I'm sorry, 87.16. Yeah, so less than a point off. And look at the skyrocket on that one. And even so, I mean, this one obviously got blown out as well. But again, another 100 there. So either of those two is decent. I mean, it destroyed all of them, but that one definitely would not have looked at. Um, that one probably ideal. But even so, that it's kind of funky. You could have got this one, but either way, you would have had to catch this one when it kind of based at this level. But yeah, either of those two would have worked fine. Those are call spreads, and then and again, Russell's my least favorite of all of them, but um, so it looks like they're what 3, 2.8, right? Yeah, 2.8. So let's just say 3, right? So we'll say 3 for easy math. So it's a 21 point move. So 7 strike prices. So same idea, right? Same way. Now again, if it obviously maintains high, then the binary makes sense. But with the whips all back and forth again, there's ways to take that off sooner. And you can get partials. Not that it really mattered because this one really blew pretty much all of them out. Yeah, right. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So yeah, so kind of cool stuff. So all right. So with that said, let's go ahead and do our drawing. Now that I have kind of showed you some of the inner workings. I told you before I have a bunch of changes that I have incoming. And I'll ask you guys because you guys are my regulars out there. So um, I think that the self-paced is obviously very, very important because I find that the self-pacing and Ernest, I think you're a testament to this as well. That having that self-paced study, you can always go back and you can review lessons again and kind of refresh yourself. Like I feel like you've mastered a lot of this because you've gone back and watched episodes again and again and again and again and again and again every Friday. And like I said, I don't know if you're still doing that, but I know for a while that every Friday you're watching one or two of the lessons over and over again. So I think self-pacing is important. But I was wondering if I should change my model. What I'm finding is that, and again, you guys can correct me if I'm wrong. I'm finding that mentoring seems to be kind of the key to this. That kind of after support seems to be better. And I'm wondering if I should transition because I have the technology in place now. If I should transition it more to that you go basically in a mentoring track, and you'll have access to things and basically like kind of basically make it to where it's like weekly check-ins for kind of mentoring. Yes, in a practice. So basically, people would not purchase classes; they would buy mentoring tracks, and they can continue the mentoring track for as long as they want. Um, so it would change the prices. They would have access to everything, but there would basically be kind of self-pacing study. So it would be self-paced. They would have access to the self-pacing, but the focus would be basically on the mentoring, and then you would be purchasing like a 3 month mentor, and that's what it would basically cost. Or you could do a 6 month mentor, or probably wouldn't do it after six. Trying to work it all out, but basically you would just purchase mentoring, and a class would come with it so that way you would have something that we could talk about, and it would be different mentoring tracks is kind of what I'm thinking because I'm finding that I can get so much more covered and people it's like I don't know, I feel like that solves more problems, but basically you would purchase mentoring tracks, but you guys trust me, you guys, you're not going to lose anything. I'm just Speaking out loud here. Based on my personal experience, I think accountability is a huge aspect of it, but without discipline, it's tough for most people to make it. Yeah, and that's the thing. Like I'm finding that like the setting the homework I find is where the biggest aspect of this is. Like it's great if I can just I just give it to you, but I'm trying to figure out how can I help more people, right? Like I don't want to pack my days 12 hours a day because that's not what I'm about. But I feel like like you said, I feel like the accountability is the hardest piece that people are not getting. Um, and you don't get the accountability with the self-pacing. I mean, if I could put more things in, I don't know. Anyway, my goal is that starting off 2022, there will be kind of a change of the way that things are being done a little bit. And there'll be kind of new additions and some subtractions and some other things. So, Ernest where he is because he chose to invest his time. Yeah, yeah. Ernest just does it again and again and again, and he's always been that way. So, I mean, he's been awesome at that. So, all right. So let's close it down. I'm going to close down the giveaway. Look at this. I'm going to close down right at 60, right at 1 hour, even though we went slightly over, but that's okay. All right, here we go. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Boom. Look at that. Bam, right on. Um, yeah, and guys, the reason I'm asking is I'm just trying to get feedback. I think too many people go off on and just do what they think is right, but that's not what people want. So I'm kind of opening up to you guys who are my like inner, my inner sanctum, right? To find out how to be the best educator I possibly can. So there's many things on the horizon, right? Oh, and I don't know if you guys have seen the email yet, but you all better sign up. So it is official. I am headlining, or not, I guess headlining. I don't know. I did officially replace the guy that was going to do the IG event. So I am going to be. I can add another brokerage firm to my list of people that I have now spoken for. But I'm going to be. I think the other guy was that. I think he was the headliner. But yeah, I think I'm the headliner now for the IG Education Summit that's coming up on. They did move it back, so it's November 9th. Is that correct? God will kill me if I give them the wrong date. Yeah, it's November 9th. So there'll be an event. It'll be IG's first. It'll be IG's first education summit. And the reason why it's pretty exciting is because IG owns Tasty, and Tasty does a lot of education as well. And there'll be some overlap that is occurring in the future. But that's pretty cool that I can say that now I did an event for FXCM with 250 people. Obviously at these education summits for, Nadex, I've had over 300 live at one time. And now I'm going to get the ability to speak to IG's client base. So I thought that was pretty cool as well. So pretty fun stuff. So, all right, let's get into the giveaway. So Ernest won on Friday, right? He blocked Neuro's double, right? So Neuro's not necessarily blocking, but he's not making it easier. So, I would ask the man. I'll do it tomorrow. I was gonna ask the Magic 8 Ball, but I kind of don't want the Magic 8 Ball's answer. I was gonna ask him if if natural gas is going over 6 today. If natural gas will close over $6 today, but I meant to do it earlier, but now I kind of don't want to know. So we'll do the Magic 8 Ball tomorrow. All right. Sosnoff will have you on Toss eventually. No, Toss will be gone eventually. I think Toss has got about a year left to go. Schwab owns both, but they're not gonna keep paying for both platforms. You know, they left it this year because of COVID, but they're not gonna maintain the price of they're not gonna handle that cost. There's no reason to really. I mean, honestly, there's no reason to really. So sorry, Will. I promise I won't be the first person that calls you when Toss is dying. No, just kidding. All right, winner of today's drawing, guys, is look at that. Wow. Man, Ernest is like, I swear, he just toys at people. All right. He gets his 100 for win number 2. I swear Ernest is in this just to troll people. He's like, you know what? I'm gonna let you guys win for a while. I'm gonna spend a lot. Now I'm not spending that much. And look at this. He is fast on Debbie's heels again. Right? It's kind of crazy. Kind of crazy. And again, yeah, it's there. And by the way, guys, I'm gonna make some new merch. I'm gonna have rigged, right? I'm gonna make some merch that has Bob rigged on the front of it. right? Just so we can have some fun with it. There's like that whole section in here. Where is it here? No, where is it? The stream store? Yeah. Oh no, not here. I don't know. There's a merch tool in here somewhere, so I'm gonna have to create some merch, right? Um, yeah, we're gonna create some merch with Bad Rigged on it, and I want you guys all to buy sweatshirts just because it says Bad Rigged on it. So, all right, with that, I'm out of here. It is 10:39. You guys have a great trading day. I will catch you guys tomorrow. I will do the broadcast. I think from now on, I'll be linked in to Todd's thing, and it'll go live every morning. I think. And then tomorrow is the longer breakdown session at noon. All right. You guys take care. If you need me, message me on Discord. You guys have a good one. Thanks again. Bye bye.